Welcome, everyone, to Super Return of the Jedi. It's only fitting that last year, the current trilogy ended, and that we take this time to end the Super Trilogy with one of the hardest mofoing games in there. Actually, I'm gonna confess this right here and now. To me, Empire is still harder.
Yeah.
Empire is still harder in this case, but since Return of the Jedi is one of my favorites amongst the Super Trilogy, I am excited to finally get to this one, although also a little worried because, well, I couldn't beat it as a kid. I couldn't even get past the first level as a kid. Thankfully, we're not going to worry about that, but right now I'm just setting up the stuff because, as you guys can tell, we're doing a little bit of a post-commentary solely for Drak's sanity, because he has to concentrate, otherwise crap hits the fan.
Funny thing is, when you play these games a long time ago, you wonder if you would ever beat the game, and then when you're this age, can you actually beat it? Yeah,
it does make you wonder, doesn't it? Like you know, once you grow a little bit, you increase in dexterity, you increase in a lot of things, and you just didn't have that as a kid. But what are we talking about? It's time for episode 6.
It's time for episode VI.
Oh, I'm sorry. And we need your radio voice because everybody wants it.
Okay. Wasn't prepared, but... Luke Skywalker has returned to his home planet of Tatooine in an attempt to rescue his friend Han Solo from the clutches of the villain gangster Jabba the Hutt.
Meanwhile,
little does Luke know that the Galactic Empire has secretly begun construction of a armored space station even more powerful than the first dreaded Death Star. When complete, this ultimate weapon will spell certain doom for the small band of rebels struggling to restore freedom to the galaxy.
And that's the news! Does your donkey play ping pong?
No, but my cat does.
Damn. That's a cat video I want to see.
I'm sure it's out there.
So yeah, if you've already experienced the plot of Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, and Super Star Wars, you're going to get roughly the same thing, although we will be making fun of all of the inaccuracies that happened while trying to make this into a game. Because it can't be as accurate to the movie. They have to skip certain things, they have to edit certain things. But I do like the fact that they actually brought on people from the X-Wing and TIE Fighter team to do this scene, so that you could have the Star Destroyer. Commander, I hope for your sake the new Death Star will be completed by the time the Emperor arrives. He is not as forgiving as I am.
Yes, Lord Vader. We shall double our efforts.
That was actually almost there. That was almost there. We shall double our efforts.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on Tatooine, Luke... Actually, you know, we should have the radio voice to it.
Meanwhile, on Tatooine, Luke, Leia, and Chewie race in a land speeder towards Jabba the Hutt's palace to rescue Han Solo.
There we go. It almost feels like Clone Wars, Andrea. So, unfortunately, you have to actually manually skip through the cutscenes, and it took me a while to realize, oh, yeah, it's not going to actually put me in the level. So, I would like to, first of all, give you guys a demo of what happened when I played it as a kid. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would just do that about 30 times and then go, this game's too hard!
What happened? You didn't...
For some reason, with the speeder, the jump button is not the jump button. You actually have to use the fire button, which is ass backwards, and that's how you jump on the land speeder.
Oh. So did you die?
And as a kid, I never figured it out.
Oh, did you just do that on purpose, or did you forget after how?
Actually, I did have to experiment a little bit when I started this up again.
Oh.
But I just looked back at that and went, dude, that's like how all my Super Return playthroughs started and ended. So there you go.
Couldn't get over the first jump.
Mm-hmm.
And then you like, quit it. I quit.
This game's too hard! And then I would blame the controller, and it got to a point where like every Super Nintendo controller in our house, which was like 5 of them, I'm just like, no, they're all broken. Why? Because I can't play Super Return of the Jedi on them. That doesn't mean they're broken. And then my brother would plug in another game, and he'd be like, no, it's working. It's like, no, it's not! So, Super Return after a while was like, no, screw this, it's broken. and I never played it again. This is the furthest I've actually ever been in this game. I'm not even kidding. Like, I've seen people play later parts of the game, but I haven't, like, manually played it myself. As you see, we are all dealing with Mode 7 once again. Mode 7! I just don't get the hype, aside from, like, F-Zero. But there you go, level 1 done.
As dawn approaches, Luke, Leia, and Chewie begin to climb up the mountainside towards the palace of Jabba the Hutt.
I'm sorry, the correct pronunciation is Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt?
Jabba the Hutt? Yes, it's the start button, Drak. Okay, so you get to technically pick Leia in this one, and there are going to be some levels where I'm going to mandate it. Because, like with this one, you get some unique costumes with her. First of all, the Bounty Hunter
We
Bosch.
don't get slave bikini Leia.
You do actually get Slave Bikini Leia.
Oh my god, I'm really shocked, actually.
No, there is actually a level on Jabba's barge, and you do get to play as Leia in the Slave Bikini.
Wow.
We are going to show it. Hopefully you're not going to be offended, Andrea. But you also get the Bounty Hunter Bosch. So, like, this is another interesting, an interesting costume that we got for this game with Leia. Now, I know that a lot of people might be asking, does she have the weird advantages that she did in the NES game? No, she does not. She basically works as a Luke hybrid, but she's restricted to melee weapons until I think Endor, and then she can use blasters. But basically, what she does is, as you guys can see, she's using Bosch's staff as her weapon, and then when you get the Slave Bikini, she uses the chain as kind of a whip.
Right.
And then she gets a blaster on Endor. So we'll definitely get those costume variants. What made you think that they weren't going to do the Slave Bikini?
Because it's Nintendo.
Well,
this is an old game, so
yeah. This was a studio out of Salt Lake City, so of course they had to do it.
I can't imagine, like, if this game came out around this time, you wonder if it would still be plausible.
Yeah.
Or if they'd be like, no, but it's too risque.
In this current day and age, yeah, probably.
Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. I mean, Nintendo's the one showing the balls more now.
That actually is kind of true. Sony's the one that would edit it. And that's unfortunate because I still am a PlayStation fan, and people get mad at me for it. And it's not, look, I get it. They're doing a lot of stupid stuff, but you know, I've been playing PlayStation for a while. And as you can see, we got a new power-up in this game. The LucasArts logo gives us super speed, which lends actually a lot of credence to...
and makes you die. Okay.
No. Thankfully, I saved myself. So you actually found out something very interesting that I'd kind of heard about, but I'd never been able to confirm. There was actually plans for sculpting software. I can't remember their full-on name, but they were going to bring the Super Trilogy to the Genesis.
Yeah, and recently some early prototypes were discovered.
And so one of the things that actually kind of hinted at this, at least from stuff that I had read, is that they gave it a super speed buff. Why? Because Sonic had one.
Yeah.
So at that point, it was like a subtle hint of like, But they just, you know, they slapped the LucasArts logo on it. I'm actually not even sure what happened that made the deal fall through, but... I mean, I guess my question is, Alex, why are you disappointed at that? You don't have to play through the horrible difficulty that is the Super Trilogy.
I didn't say I was disappointed. I just thought it was really interesting.
No, that was actually, it is pretty cool.
I didn't know that these were going to ever be put on to Sega.
Oh, and by the way, you're going to love this. The first boss of the game, Ichuta, motherfucker! Achua Blinky! Yes, they made the door answering droid a boss. Now, from here on in, I'm just going to warn people in advance. We had some hardware issues recording this, and so unfortunately, there's going to be a couple of skips here and there, and it's simply because the video, for some weird reason, would die out on what I was recording this on. So that's actually one of them where all of a sudden, in the middle of fighting a boss, I get blue screen. I'm like, oh, crap! Because I don't want to do the level all over again. And I actually didn't showcase this while we were doing the level. If you power up the staff, you get the arrows of death.
Wow.
Yep, there you go. And sorry, but your door answering droid is destroyed. Oops. So that's 2 stages down. Now, we are still technically Bausch as Leia for this next one. We're going to be going into the dance hall. And we're just going to do Leia again, because why not? We want to get the most use out of this freaking costume. And yes, that was another hardware issue that I had. Yes, you actually do fight Jabba's pet rat in this particular level. I don't think he shows up in the later ones though. Oh my gosh. So for some weird reason, this level acts like a beat 'em up.
Yeah.
Because if you beat a certain amount of monsters, then you can advance. And I'm like, dude, not even the bar in Super Star Wars worked that way. But okay. Oh, and I probably better make this statement known really quick. Somebody corrected me during Super Empire. They actually did make a major gameplay change that I forgot to mention, and that was with thermal detonators. In Super Star Wars, you could stock them.
Right.
In this, from Empire on, they basically made thermal detonators kind of a timed power-up. If you don't use it, it goes away. And so there were a couple times in Empire where I think I was looking for my thermal detonator and I couldn't find it. It's simply because I let the timer run out.
Okay.
So, yeah, it works that way here too. Another cool addition is, I don't know if you're noticing this, when she gets hit, you actually hear sound bits of what we're assuming is supposed to be Leia screaming.
Yeah, I hear that.
And I believe they are rips from the movie. Like they took some of Carrie Fisher's lines and put them into a 16-bit game, which to me is awesome. It's like voice acting this early. This early in gaming. Boom!
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry for all the people I just gave a headache to right now. It's not my fault. That's how the thermal detonator works. There we go, little heart. Ichuta. Jeez, this is a huge dance hall if you think about it.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. And I love that some of the Empire tracks made it back in here.
Why are they playing the Imperial March here?
I don't know, but I mean, I just love hearing the Imperial March in 16-bit. I don't know why. It's just so cool to me.
We can only afford 2 music tracks from the game. From the movies, I mean.
Then at that point, I want you to go back to Super Star Wars and get the da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
Could you fall down there?
Yeah.
Yes, it is a pitfall. There we go. And oh, by the way, those are not the full-size Rancor, so don't worry about that. And at least this boss fight makes sense because we're fighting Bib Fortuna.
Oh, Jabba, no.
And I didn't know that his tentacles could shoot beams. Did you know, Alex?
I did not know. It's probably in some old expanded universe lore that probably.
Probably. Or this is another liberty that Sculpty Software had to do to make it more gamey.
Yeah.
I will say that the Bib Fortuna model looks really good, considering.
Jabba no Bada.
Jabba no Bada. And I also like that you have the Carbonite prison. Like, it stands out from the background.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
This is one of those things where I love Sculpting Software, and I wish that they could have stayed around a lot longer after this trilogy, but they didn't. They folded, I think, pretty soon after. They did so good with the Super Trilogy. Actually, no. It was after the Indiana Jones game that I think they folded. I think they did that one, too. So Indiana Jones's Greatest Adventures on Super NES. Which, when we get there, we gotta do that one. We gotta do it. It's fun. It's one of the funnest indie games I've ever played. So there you go. Stage 3 beat! We're doing so good right now. Even though we're not playing, because we're post-commentating. Who's there? I can't see.
Someone who loves you.
Even though technically I was supposed to threaten Jabba with a thermal detonator before this. Leia! Han, you have hibernation sickness from being frozen in carbonite. Your eyesight will return soon. You're supposed to say that as Bosch. I recognize that laugh.
I recognize that laugh.
I love it. They put in Jabba's laugh in this game. So we can't pick Leia anymore. You can pick Chewie, but we got to go with Luke because he got a new model this game.
Oh, actually, Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventure, Factor 5.
Oh, Factor 5 did it.
Yeah.
Okay, well then it's still good in my opinion because Factor 5. Jeez, another studio that went down.
Yeah.
But that one, at least I can say with Factor 5, they went down swinging. Like they got the Rogue Squadron games for a while. Oh, just glorious.
Yep.
So you will notice right now, Alex, we are in the Jedi garb, or the new outfit that Luke was in Return of the Jedi.
Right, the
with
black
complete
outfit.
with green lightsaber. But they actually added. It's one of those things where, if you look at the original model from Super Star Wars, which I might have up, you see a lot more detail being put in to Luke's model, and it's simply because around this time, the Super Nintendo was deep into its life cycle, and people were finding ways to tweak it to be able to get a little bit more color out of it.
Yeah.
And so Sculpting Software actually found ways to be able to do kind of an HD-esque model of Luke and add little details here and there to make him accurate to the movie. And also, the Bosch model got HD kind of upgrades to it, and so did the slave bikini. Oh, I'm gonna love bringing that up. You literally didn't think they were gonna do that.
I really didn't.
Oh yeah, they totally did. It was worth it too. I would put a bit of evidence up on the screen right now, but I think you just ought to see it.
Yeah.
You just ought to see it in the levels.
We'll see it, obviously.
Because I think it's only for one level, because it's like on Jabba's barge. And that's it. And I even think, yeah, the end boss of that level is Jabba. So it's kind of appropriate that Leia take out Jabba since she killed him in the movie. In the weirdest way possible, but she did. She used her slavery against him. Literally.
That's right.
All right, and so I know a few people are probably going to be asking, where are the Contra mechanics that we're used to in this game? Chewie still works the way he did in Empire, so don't worry about that. And eventually we do get access to Han, and Han works the same gun gameplay that you're used to in the Super Trilogy. I'm just showcasing these ones because, well, you know, they're unique.
You haven't seen them before.
Well, and eventually we actually will get individualized levels. Because you won't be able to pick because, you know, Luke will split up, and I believe Han, Chewie, and Leia will be able to be pickable in the Endor levels, but I think there are also going to be specific ones where you have to play as Han. Because, you know, he was the one that went into the shield generator.
Yeah.
So, that's definitely something I'm looking forward to showing you guys. I'm so excited.
You're
about
killing
playing
Jawas.
Yes, I am. And they all say tee-hee as they die. So I'm killing them by tickling them. Yeah, that's right. You heard me. Now, you'll also notice, Alex, I start off, so let's just say in Super Empire, you weren't able to get every single force power in Dagobah. Sculpting Software understood what they were trying to do with it, and that a lot of people might have had that issue, so they, by default, give Luke all of his force power-ups.
Oh, that's good.
And you could just select through them, and they work the same way that they would in Empire. I'm just not using them right now because the only viable one, aside from maybe the Saber Toss, is Force Heal.
I mean, that just makes sense, because I don't imagine there'd be any way to carry data
I believe
between
one of the
games.
prototype ideas that they actually did think about was they actually made an argument to have saves in the game, have a lithium battery in it.
Yeah.
And then at that point, if you went from Empire to Return of the Jedi, it would carry over your force powers, the ones that you had. But somehow that got trashed, and probably for the better, because everybody I've ever talked to hates that Dagobah level, because you want to make sure you walk away with all the force power-ups, except like 2 or 3 of them are kind of useless.
Would that even be possible in the late 90s?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you just have to spend a ton of time in that Dagobah stage to be able to do it, because they're all there.
I mean, I'm just talking about the ability to cross-save your game between 2 cartridges.
I think the tech was just barely being experimented with, like, because it was being used in PCs at the time. And so they thought maybe the Super Nintendo would also be capable of it. But unfortunately, we're out of time for this one. So when we come back, we will continue on with Luke's journey into Jabba's palace.